At this time, I would like to introduce Scott Lindberg, the superintendent of the Waterford School District. Scott Lindberg started his career in education in 1994 as an alternative school teacher for middle and high school students at South Redford and Livonia Public Schools. In 1999, he became assistant principal at a high school at Dexter Community Schools and later principal at Oak Valley Middle School in Huron Valley. Mr. Lindberg was appointed Executive Director of Human Resources for Huron Valley Schools in 2013, moving to the role of Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services and Human Resources in 2017. In 2019, Scott was hired to serve as the Waterford School District Superintendent. Thank you, Scott. Let's go ahead and hear what's going on in the district.
Well, thank you so much, Marie, for that warm introduction, and so pleased to be here. Although it's virtually, I'd rather be there having breakfast and pancakes with all of you. But these are important messages on how we're coming together to serve the community and the families and our students in the Waterford School District. So happy to be there. So before I get started, I'd like to acknowledge our Board of Education and my cabinet. Next slide, please. So we have President Dr. Mike Ristich, Vice President Rob Petrucia, Treasurer Joan Sutherland, Secretary Bob Piggott, and Trustees John Himmelspaugh, Julie Jocelyn, and Kristen Wagner. Next slide. My cabinet. We have just lost some power. I hope you can all see me, and we will move forward. My cabinet, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning Services, Lisa Eldridge, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations, Sandy Elka, and Director of Human Resources, Susan File, and Director of Communication and Community Relations, Kelly Allen. So it's certainly been an interesting year. Their support and innovation of my cabinet and of the board has been instrumental to our success as we pivoted throughout the year. I truly appreciate the chamber hosting the state of the township on this modified platform. As I've learned over the past year, traditions are important to keep. They must look a little different. I've learned over the last year to think back to the last time we were all together for this event. None of us knew what was coming. We had plans for 2020, yet 2020 had plans for us. And while this year has been filled with challenges, not only unlike right now when we've lost power in the central office building, but we have had countless opportunities to show where we have shined and come together as a district and achievements to celebrate. Okay. While some of those achievements are the traditional measurable type that you expect from year to year, 2020 did give us at least one gift. 2020 forced us to look at everything from a completely different perspective. We have a little video here to show you. Nikki, if you could roll that.
Imagine if right now we stop thinking about the time that is lost. Imagine if we think about what we might gain. Think about this. If instead of worrying about kids falling behind in school, you see that we are still moving ahead as people. We're becoming more caring, more creative, and more responsible. Imagine if we bond more with our siblings, with our parents, with our grandparents, and all the people we love. Imagine if we learned to love the earth, and that the best things in life are not things. Imagine if we learned the true meaning of want and need, how to create shopping lists, to cook, and to do laundry. Imagine if everyone learns to appreciate teachers, truck drivers, grocery workers, and how hard they work. Imagine we could learn that the real heroes are not in movies and comic books, but the real heroes are doctors and nurses, and And that's what we dream of becoming. Imagine we become the closest generation because we were once kept apart. Imagine if we stop focusing on what is being lost and focus instead on what is being gained. Imagine.
Isn't that, that is just so amazing to watch. I think about my own daughter when I was working from home last spring. My own daughter, 11 at the time, she's now 12, working through these challenges. So I, as a superintendent, was able to see the challenges and some of those opportunities that really played out for us in that video. And it really helped me to realize the grace that we had to have for one another, the patience, and just continuing to work together through these challenging times. So I received this video from a colleague while we were neck deep in the difficult decisions, and I wanted to share that with you this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. So imagine if instead of focusing on what was being lost, we focused on what is being gained. So I encourage you all to think about that in your own lives, your families, and your homes. So all of our success here in the Waterford School District speaks to the character of this community, the resilience of our students, the dedication and creativity of our teachers and our staff, the tireless efforts of our parents, and the support of our community. The year was off to a great start with our robotics team, Wired, making it to the state tournament, and our orchestra teacher, Merlin Beard, named Outstanding Teacher of the Year. We had also started our strategic planning process last spring, holding meetings and surveying our community. Then by mid-March, our doors were closed due to COVID-19, and many of us thought those doors would reopen, but they did not. It was all new to us. No one had been through a global pandemic. Information was changing daily, if not hourly, but our team, this Waterford administrative team, our teachers, our board, never stopped working. At times, it was actually around the clock to meet the needs of our students and families. Right away, our food service team developed plans to feed our students while they were at home. Rain, snow, or shine, cold temperatures, our staff had always been preparing and distributing meals on and off site, and that continues to this day. Their efforts were recently recognized by the Michigan Department of Education for serving over 495,000 meals during the pandemic, and their efforts continue still today. Our curriculum department, building administrators, and our teachers have continued to adapt over the past year, and in the spring, the Waterford remote learning model was developed and implemented. This was our first step in connecting our students and teachers while we were apart. This was also when our parents became our co-teachers, and our partnership with them became even stronger and more necessary than ever before. Through all of this, we have found ways to celebrate with our students, learning, leaning in on tradition with the necessary modifications. I want to share too, the board supported us purchasing over 3,000 devices. We got out to the students and families that needed those, and over 200 hotspots. We also hosted several milestones at the end of the year, events both virtually and in drive-through fashion. We had our 5th grade send-off. We had our 8th grade send-off, celebrating their achievements and what was ahead for them. And even our graduation was done differently. And I'm proud to say that we just didn't develop these plans in a vacuum. We worked with our students, our staff, and our parents to modify and to make the best of the situation we were given. I'll say, while it was very different, all of these celebrations from years past, there were aspects that were just wonderful. I heard from many that the modified versions of graduation was much more of a personal experience, and they really enjoyed themselves. To meet the needs of our families and the guidelines set by the state, our team went to work over the summer, developing the Waterford Virtual Academy and making several enhancements to our remote learning model that would be implemented when necessary for families who wanted to be in person. The school year started virtual and remote for all of our students. Our technology department ensured that every student that needed advice and connectivity received it. That was quite the undertaking. Then in October, we were inviting all of our students back. Our elementary students came back in person, but again, COVID had different plans for us. So due to the rising spike in COVID cases, we had to all go back to remote in early November. But we put a plan together working with the county health department and the epidemiologist, and we were looking at what would be happening going forward. So at the end of November, we approved a plan to bring our students back in a phased-in approach in January for those who wanted to come back. We started reintroducing our students back into the buildings, starting with the youngest ones, our early childhood, and working our way up to our secondary students. Today, I am happy to share with you that all of our students who want to be in person are, and that ranges from about 70 to 75% of our students are back in person across the district. Students are happy to be here. We have transitioned them back. We are focused on their social, emotional learning and their well-being, and also our staff, and bringing all of this together. And this will, community, let you know, this will be an ongoing effort and an important aspect of the work we do throughout the rest of the school year and certainly into the new school year. We have modified classroom setup where possible with dividers and distancing. We keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and protocols. We are working hard, hand in hand, with the Oakland County Health Division with all contact tracing. Keeping our students in the classroom is a group effort of this entire team. And it also includes our students and our parents, and we appreciate their patience and working with us through this. Everyone's efforts have been critical. Throughout all of this, we have felt a constant support by this Waterford community. The community has rallied around us and around our students and around our schools and our teachers, and we cannot thank you enough. The Waterford Foundation for Public Education provided books to our JK through third grade students as part of the Kids Read Now summer program. Several local businesses have helped us along the way, from printing hundreds of yard signs to supplying us with the PPE needed. You know, I must say, in these difficult times, I was just, again, blown away time and time again when over the holidays, several local businesses offered freebies and enhancements, special offers to show our staff their appreciation. It's things like these examples that truly share or show the character of our community. We also need to thank our community for supporting us at the polls. Last August, remember, it was going to be in May, that changed the election, but last August we went and asked our community to support a $150 million bond proposal, and we have begun to implement that, and we are so thankful for their support. We are looking at expanding student safety and school security measures. We're looking at and planning on upgrades to classrooms, the heating and cooling systems. Cooling systems will begin at Kettering this summer. Fire alarm systems, music equipment, and athletic facilities. Updates to technology and technology infrastructure. Replacement of items that have reached the end of their life expectancy, like roofs and lighting, flooring, furniture, and school buses. Renovations to classroom and media centers that provide active learning spaces. And the crown jewel of this bond is the construction of our new Early Childhood Center, which will be on the same site as the current Stepanski Early Childhood Program. Some of those plans are underway, and we will be sharing those as we have more updates with you for going forward. Again, thank you, Waterford, for investing in the future. Speaking of the future, we do have some initiatives that are currently in the works. We will be now relaunching our strategic planning process this spring to set our direction for the next several years. And I want to ensure you that we are already moving forward on many initiatives that will help to inform our strategic plan as we bring in community stakeholders from across the district later this spring. So stay tuned for that. In addition, I am real excited to report that our curriculum and instructional team under the direction of Assistant Superintendent Lisa Eldridge is developing a plan to implement problem-based learning at all of our elementary schools for the 22-23 school year. And that'll be a phased-in approach, a lot of work and PD and planning will go into that. As I mentioned too, the other piece will be bringing back all of these wonderful students that you see from behind the screens to in person. And our students have worked so well with us. We are having to implement mitigation strategies that we would rather not have to do, but we know the importance of having our students in their building. So everyone's cooperation has been much appreciated. So looking back now on 2020, it was not easy, but it gave us an opportunity to show how much we can come together, work together for the betterment of our students in no matter the conditions that we're given. We are celebrating what we have gained, and we will keep all of those things close to our hearts as we move forward through 2021 and beyond. Thank you very much.